Hello everyone, I'm bringing you another in a series of videos today looking at personal items, Vietnam War era personal items with a focus on US personnel, so therefore US products. We had a look at print media in the previous video in this series, looked at some magazines and some books there. To follow a theme on the channel which has been prevalent recently, we're having a look at a camera in this video, and this is the Kodak Instamatic 104, a very common, very popular camera at the time. There were of course other cameras available and other cameras would have been taken with troops in country, but the Instamatic was a very popular camera of the time, and we're going to have a look at this in some detail now. It's a very good example of the sort of cameras that were carried at the time and were used by US personnel in Vietnam. A nice addition to a display to have one of these as part of your kit, and it's small, compact and doesn't take up much space and would have been popular from that point of view as well. Without further ado, we'll get into the main part of the video now and have a look at this camera and the various accessories in a bit more detail. So in this video we are only going to talk about one camera, and that's the Kodak Instamatic 104, which we have here in its box. There are multiple other options from different manufacturers. There are other versions of the Kodak Instamatic. The reason I'm talking about the Kodak Instamatic 104, I'm really talking about the Kodak Instamatic line as a whole. It was very popular at the time. They were relatively cheap and they were, as I say, very popular, and they're still relatively cheap today. So from a collector's point of view, someone looking to put together soldiers' small kit, personal items for US troops serving in the Vietnam War, the Kodak Instamatic, one version of it from the period, is a very good choice. So that's why we're having a look at this today. This was actually a gift from a friend of mine in the US, Ian Parker, who very kindly sent me this. It's a lovely example in the box, so we'll have a quick look at the outside of the box first of all. Show you the details here. Because it's so nice, such nice condition and still in the box, it does make for a great display item. You can see the box hinges off these little pins at the back here, which is a rather nice feature. If we open this up, have a look inside, you can see we have everything here. So we have the manual, the little instruction booklet, film cartridge, 2 batteries, flash cube here, the camera itself, and this wonderful internal image in the box, which is lovely, really makes for a nice display piece at events. I have this propped open, and really happy to have this, and thank you once again to Ian for sending this over to me. It was a very generous gift, and I'm really pleased with this. It's a lovely thing to have with the accessories still intact and in good condition in the box, as you can see. Have a quick look through the little instruction pamphlet first, and obviously arrows here pointing to the flash cube, which we'll talk about a little bit more in just a minute. But you can see here this is multilingual, so the other side of the cover, if you flip it over, I think you have French if I remember correctly. Yes, so we'll stick with the English side, and I'll have a quick flick through this and give you a chance to read these pages should you wish to. I think the focus of the camera will be good enough for that, and try and keep the glare off the pages. But it does give various instructions regarding loading the film, use of the flash cube and so forth. Open this up here. Some actual details on taking photographs and using the flash and taking photos outdoors. Some further information here. And again, you can pause if you wish to read any of these pages. And a quick flick through pretty quickly. Of course, trying to sell further products here, naturally. And then we have the guarantee in the middle here. So, a lovely thing to have. Again, the booklet itself in really nice condition. So we'll have a look at the camera here in a little bit more detail. It's a very simple design. It's made in plastic primarily, with some aluminium fittings or some steel chrome fittings. The back here, if you want to load film, you open up the side with this little catch on the side here, and you have the film cartridge, which can be inserted here. And that just slots into the back, which means you don't have to rewind this once it's been used. You just remove the cartridge and away you go, and take it to the development lab and they'll develop it for you. So that's how the cartridge loads in the back there, simplicity itself. That, once it's loaded, pushes in this little tab here, which allows you to operate the manual wind on the side there to wind forward on the film, and then you've got the shutter release. And if I shine the light in here, you might be able to see the shutter fire there. So I have a viewfinder here at the top, a very simple viewfinder there. and that just snaps closed. You have a little window here which shows you how much you've got left in the back there in terms of film. And then we obviously have the mount point for the flash cube on the top here, and this fits into here and can be rotated, so that would clip into here like that. As you can see, it has little metal contacts which contact the metal fittings in here, and you can rotate this, and obviously you get one flash per bulb using these. It's a metal cube containing the 4 bulbs around the side there. And the batteries, which you can see here, these are in really nice condition. They've survived really well considering. Not been inside the camera, which helps of course, but we have an ever-ready alkaline power cell there, as you can see. These fit in a compartment on the bottom which pushes open like that, as you can see there. That carries the power up to the flash cube, so just gently close that. It's a little bit stiff. There's a bit of corrosion in there from batteries of which have been in there in the past. So very, very simple design, as I say, made in plastics and so forth, which made it relatively cheap, and it's very, very easy to use and therefore popular. Now, I have printed out some photographs to replicate the sort of standard print you would get from this, and you can see these here, the square prints. These are actually more related to Australian service in Vietnam, and I use them as part of my display of Australian kit, which includes the camera as well. And it's a nice thing to do. You can pull up some photographs. Perhaps you have family members who served out there, particularly if people are watching in the US. You could print, crop them down, edit them and print them out. I can't remember which company I got to print these for me, but they were printed on glossy, as you can see there, and in the right sort of size. I think they're just slightly out in terms of size, but not far off, and it really adds something to a display. So have those there, basically replica prints of the kind of photos you would have got from this camera at the time. So that's a look at the Kodak Instamatic 104, an idea perhaps for displays of having some prints alongside it, and as I say, a really nice addition to personal items for the soldiers serving in Vietnam during the course of the Vietnam War. Very popular choice and still readily available on the collector's market today. So there it is, the Kodak Instamatic 104. I want to say a big thank you once again to Ian for sending this over. It really is a lovely item, having all its accessories and so forth intact in the box and in such good condition. It's on display, have it on display in the cabinet in the front room with Australian small kit and ephemera from the Vietnam War. It forms part of that display in the cabinet of the front room, and it's a lovely thing to have there, adds a bit of colour, and obviously it's a nice personal item to have on display alongside some of the issue kit that I have in the cabinet there. So it really is a lovely item, and thank you once again, Ian. If you found it interesting looking at this and you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you click the little bell, the notification button down below, which will of course ensure you're alerted when I upload future videos. That's everything for this video. So until next time, bye for now.